What's up, guys? It's Nunstar. I just wanted to do a patch 10.24 notes video. So, I thought I'd get into it. I didn't realize they were going to be out today, but they are, so I'll just get into it. Hey, is this thing on? Taps mic. Anyone still alive after the chonk of last patch? So here we are, the preseason aftermath. We bring to you a series of changes that are overwhelmingly heavy on items as we feel out the changes in the new ecosystem. Long story short, AP Mythics are strong across the board, while other items needed a bit more power to fulfill their role. So come along for the ride as we drive down the overperforming and rev up the underwhelming. You know the drill. More out of the ordinary are two new behavioral systems updates to mitigate the blow of disconnected players or AFKs, and a little glitzy glammy for two Void buddies. And one more thing, we also want to encourage you to revisit the 10.23 patch notes after reading through this one, as we had a lot of updates and bug fixes since the patch first went live. So if you feel like that really crazy bug that a developer said would be fixed is missing here, it's probably documented over there. Patch highlights. So they're buffing Tryndamere and Varus, they're updating Yasuo and Yone, they're nerfing Amumu, Hecarim, both for jungle, and they're nerfing Kayle top and Samira bot. These are the items they're changing. Blade of the Ruined King, they're nerfing Blade of the Ruined King, and then buffing Cosmic Drive, nerfing Demonic Embrace, nerfing Eclipse, buffing Ember Knife, buffing Essence Reaver, buffing Kraken Slayer, nerfing Liandry's Anguish, nerfing Lichbane, nerfing Luden's Tempest, buffing Moonstone Renewer, nerfing Nashor's Tooth, nerfing Night Harvester, buffing Phantom Dancer, buffing Prowler's Claw, nerfing Riftmaker, nerfing Hextech Rocket Belt, buffing Serpent's Fang, buffing Hailblade, and then buffing Tear of the Goddess. So, it says Tear of the Goddess line, actually. This is actually probably going to make Kayle really weak, because they're nerfing Kayle, and they're nerfing Riftmaker and Nashor's Tooth, which are two of her main items. You go those two items. And Lichbane, actually. So they're nerfing three items in Kayle's line. So Kayle is probably going to drop pretty far. Alright, so it says here, for the changes, Amumu, W damage over time decreased. The new items and systems have pushed Amumu from strong to overwhelming. We're pulling back some of his damage over time, which has particularly benefited from the item update. So W Despair, the base damage over time is going from 5 to 4, and then 7.5 to 6. So at the max rank, it's actually going to be 12 instead of 15 now. And the damage ratio, instead of being 0.5 AP per 100 AP every half second, it's actually been halved to 0.25 AP per 100 AP every half second. And then bug fix, damage no longer occasionally fires at a slightly increased pace. Okay. Hecarim, passive bonus movement speed to bonus damage conversion decreased. E bonus movement speed decreased later and bug fixed. The new items give Hecarim a bit too much extra pep in his gallop, so we're pulling the reins on his devastating charge, as well as the AD he gains from running fast. Passive Warpath, bonus movement speed to bonus AD conversion, and then it's going from 15 to 30 to 12 to 24. E, devastating charge, bonus movement speed 25 to 85, 25 to 75 based on time active. Bug fix, Hecarim no longer gains more than 25% movement speed immediately after casting E, devastating charge. Kayle, passive bonus attack speed reduced. We're partially walking back on the change to Kayle's passive from patch 10.23 to lower her whacking stacking. Passive Divine Ascent, bonus attack speed 2% per 100 ability power to 1% per 100 ability power, so they're halving it. Samira, passive melee blade bonus damage ratio decreased. Dash range against immobilized enemies decreased. With more items that grant both lifesteal and crit at her disposal, Samira poses a menacing threat in lane, even when being actively zoned out. We're nerfing her all-in potential so that she has to think twice before charging in, gun and blade blazing. Passive, Daredevil Impulse. It's going from 10% AD to 7.5% AD, then So that's for the melee blade damage ratio. Then dash range against a mobilized enemy. It's going from 800 at its first rank to 650. So you actually need 3 points into it to get 800. And then it's going to 950 instead of 1000 at max rank. So Tryndamere, Q bonus AD increased, bonus AD per 1% missing health increased. Tryndamere is critting less often and for less damage, so we're amping up his damage. Yeah, Bloodlust bonus is going from 5. They're actually doubling it at rank 1 for Q, and they're giving it 5 more. Instead of it being 3 points, it's going to be 2 to get 15. Then, 20, 25, 30. Basically, they're starting you off with 5 extra and just moving that up. And then bonus AD per 1% missing health is going from 0.15 at rank 1 to staying the same at 0.15. However, it's going to 0.25 and then 0.35. So at max rank, instead of 0.35, it's going to be 0.55. Okay, Varus. Q Blight detonation cooldown reduction removed. Damage from Blight effects detonated with Q are now increased by the amount of time Varus charges it for, up to 50%. Q now shows crit text when fully charged. W bonus damage reduced. Detonating a Blight stack on enemy champions and epic monsters now reduces all basic cooldowns by 12% of the max cooldown per stack. R now snaps Varus to face the target direction on start of cast. Missile speed reduced. As a consistent high-priority pick in pro play, Varus tuning has often left players feeling unsatisfied. To bring him back with vengeance, we're shifting power away from elements that are typically strong in pro play, such as reliable CC and lane bullying, and back into Varus' unique playstyle of charged arrows and spell weaving. So it says here for Q, removed Blight cooldown reduction. Cooldown is no longer reduced by 3 seconds if piercing arrow detonates on a blighted enemy. New bow up. Damage from Blight effects detonated with piercing arrow are now increased by the amount of time Varus charges it for, up to 50%, in addition to increasing piercing arrows damage up to 50%. New VFX. Piercing arrow will now show crit text when fully charged. W Blighted quiver. It says here bonus damage going from 7 staying to 7. However, it's actually being nerfed. It says here 21 at max rank. It's going to be 11 now. New bow down. Detonating a Blight stack on enemy champions and epic monsters now reduces all basic cooldowns by 12% of the max cooldown per stack. R chain of corruption. New snapback. Varus now snaps to face the target direction on start of the cast. Missile speed 1950 to 1500, so they slowed it down quite a bit. Yasuo. Passive crit doubling now takes place after Rageblade's on-hit calculations. Yasuo's doubled crit chance was so powerful with Rageblade, the only correct choice was to build it first in every situation. This change addresses that excessive synergy. For full transparency, given the interactions like this one we've run into so far, we're currently targeting next patch for a change that'll cause Rageblade to remove crit chance from users rather than just prevent crits. If you are wondering whether you'd have to learn the Rageblade playstyle to keep playing Yasuo in preseason, the answer is no. So it says here, passive Way of the Wanderer. Way of the Wanderer's crit-related effects now wait to calculate until any other effects that care about crit have been taken care of. This primarily means crit chance is no longer doubled before Gwynzo's Rageblade calculates its on-hit damage. Yone, passive crit doubling now takes place after Rageblade's on-hit calculations. Same content applies here as Yasuo above. So it says here, passive Way of the Hunter, order of operations. Way of the Hunter's crit-related effects now wait to activate until any other effects that care about crit have been taken care of. This primarily means crit chance is no longer doubled before Windows Rageblade calculates its on-hit effects. Okay, that's pretty good. So now we're into items. So here, Blade of the Ruined King. Blade of the Ruined King is overperforming compared to other legendaries it competes with, dropping its power to make it look more in line with others. So total cost down from 3,100 gold. It's actually going up to 3,200 gold. Its attack speed going from 30% to 25%. Cosmic Drive. Bumping up Cosmic Drive's power to secure its position is a viable second item choice. Ability power going from 70 to 75. Demonic Embrace. Demonic Embrace along with Nashor's Tooth and Lichbane are dominating the second item slot, so we're taking it down a notch. Azakana Gaze burn damage. 1.5% max health magic damage every second for 4 seconds. It's now 1.2 max health magic damage every second for 3 seconds. Eclipse, cooldown 6 seconds for melee, 12 seconds for ranged. It says here it's now going to be 8 seconds for melee, 16 seconds for ranged. So it's going up. Ember Knife. We're opening jungle sustained backup for AoE casters who have been struggling with the recent changes. This comes with a small knock to the number overall, since most junglers are equipped with some form of AoE that will benefit. The AoE allowance only applies specifically to Ember Knife and Hailblade. So it says here the Omnivamp is going from 12% to 10%, and it says including AoE damage. It says here Hailblade, see Ember Knife, so Omnivamp going from 12% to 10%, including AoE damage. Essence Reaver, attack damage going from 40% to 50%, so it's actually gaining 1080. Kraken Slayer, attack damage going from 60 to 65, they're adding 5 to it. Wormfallen, sacrifice attack damage going from 80 to 85, damage ratio 30% to 45%. Gwynzo's Rageblade bug fix. Gwynzo's Rageblade now properly triggers at all ranges when the holder also has Kraken Slayer. Leandri's Anguish. Leandri's is so strong, especially for mages that can consistently apply its damage over time effects. We're reducing AP ratio scaling to pull back some late game power. So it's going from 2.5% AP to 1.5% AP. Lichbane. We're toning down Lichbane's AP ratio, which has contributed to high burst scenarios late game. I'm sure a lot of people have dealt with being hit with like a 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐿e that just one-shots them, so they're taking it down from 50% AP to 40% AP. Luden's Tempest. Luden's Tempest is granting too much movement speed to champions whose mobility is meant to be a weakness, reining in the fast and a bit of the furious by lowering its burst damage. Echo movement speed, 30%, they're actually halving it to 15%. Echo damage ratio from 15% AP to 10% AP. Moonstone Renewer. Bug fix. Fully fixed an issue where Moonstone Renewer was not renewing if the ally is in champion combat, but the owner is not. So it says here, Starlit Grace Heal, it's going to be 60 to 90, ally levels 1 through 18, increased by 25% each second spent in combat with champions, maximum 100%. Gnasher's Tooth. Gnasher's gives a combination of damage and a bevy of stats, which has made the item a little too strong for users that can utilize both. We're bringing in on-hit damage more in line. Icathian Bite damage ratio, 25% AP to 20% AP. Night Harvester. Night Harvester and Rocket Belt are contributing to some of the high burst scenarios that we're looking to tone down. Soul Rend damage going from 175 to 250 magic damage level 1 through 18. It's going to be 125 to 200 level 1 through 18. Hextech Rocket Belt. See Night Harvester. It's going from 200-300 damage to 175 to 250 magic damage. Phantom Dancer. Phantom Dancer generally underperforms, especially early on. We're putting it on discount and throwing in a utility boost to make it a more appealing early pickup. It's going from 2,900 to 2,700 gold, and Spectral Waltz duration going from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Prowler's Claw. Attack damage, 55 to 60. Sandstrike's Claw attack damage, 75 to 80. Riftmaker. Bringing Riftmaker down to the power of other mythics to maintain the mythic choice structure. It's going from 3% per second for the Void Corruption damage with a max of 15 to 2% per second, max 10%. Serpent's Fang. Although Fang is a strong item, it hasn't seen much action, so we're increasing its damage to solidify it as a powerful situational choice for assassins. Shield Reaver damage from 50%, Shield Reaver damage is 50 physical damage. It's now going to be 70 physical damage. Tear of the Goddess line. Tier users have taken a hit from both the new item system and the new tier stacking. We're increasing the rate tier stacks to lessen its weakness. Items building from tier have had their mana values adjusted as a result. Tier of the Goddess is going from 150 mana to 240. Maximum bonus mana going from 350 to 360. Archangel's Staff mana is going from 400 to 500. Mana Moon going from 400 to 500 for mana. Seraph's Embrace going from 850 to 860 mana. And then Muramana going from 850 to 860 as well. Mid lane minion changes. Mid laners hold a significant amount of power across all levels of play. We think pulling a small amount of power out of this lane during early and mid game will keep things in check. We're also nerfing heavy roamers. Of note, these changes went out in patch 10.23, but were missed in the documentation, so if you've been counting, you're not crazy. Mid lane cannon minions now give 10 less gold. Mid lane cannon minions now gain 30% increased attack speed against towers. Behavioral systems update. As we wrap up the year, we've also wrapped up the early surrender and LP constellation projects we mentioned in September, which are now ready for feedback. We've implemented the following. If there was an AFK player detected on your team after the 10-minute mark, a surrender vote can occur. For now, this change will only apply to Summoner's Rift, and the vote must be unanimous. If the vote isn't unanimous, at the 15-minute mark, the team can vote again, now only needing a majority vote. If a player on your team leaves during a ranked match or is detected as AFK, your LP loss may be reduced. Pre-mades with a disconnect/AFK provisional players and players in promotion series will not receive this loss reduction. For more details, read this article. Item shop and icon improvements. We're continuing to iterate on the item shop based on the feedback you've given us. As part of that work, we're also updating over 60 icons to improve silhouette read, differentiate colors, reduce noise, and improve rendering quality. We hear and agree with the feedback that many of these icons are too difficult to identify quickly and are working towards cleaner, clearer icons. Thanks again for all your feedback. Updates to over 60 item icons. Stomped a ton of bugs in the shop. Our shoes are now disgusting. The font size of the shop's gold display has been embiggened. Futures Market now displays your debt limit in the shop. Recommended item card titles are now bolder. Fixed a bug where the tags in recommended item cards had too much padding. We took them to the gym. When there is only one or two actual recommendations, no empty item cards will appear in the shop. Fixed purchase button hover and clicked states. Player chat will now display behind the item shop until you decide to open it. Many fixes to items appearing or not appearing in the correct tab and filter groups. Selected items in the shop will now have a sweet-looking magic surrounding them. Darkened the borders of items you can't afford to better differentiate them from the ones you can. More coming here soon. Made it easier to determine when a recommended item is not affordable. While the shop is opened, you can now open the extended stats panel. VFX and sound effects updates. We've got another VFX update for you this patch. It's time for everyone's favorite Void bug to skitter into the spotlight, 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐒, and continuing down our Void friends, we've got some ear candy sound effects changes for the Void's eye. Once again, our goals for these sorts of smaller updates is to improve the overall gameplay clarity of VFX and SFX whilst bringing them up to modern League of Legends standards. This means that our efforts are primarily aimed at abilities which do not clearly communicate their hitbox. 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐒's passive unseen threat. Blade VFX more glowy, target effects better fit into the Void color scheme. Basic attack, updated swipes and new hit effects. Q, taste their fear, updated isolated target indicator, reduced noise on target VFX. W, void spike, new missile trail effects, updated explosion area of effect to match the hitbox. E, leap, reduced noise on landing effect, updated area of effect to match the hitbox. R, void assault, updated cloaking effect, improved decloaking effect. Mecha 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐒's W rockets stay closer to the missile hitbox, updated W and E area of effects. Guardian of the Sands 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐒's updated W and E area of effects. Death Blossom 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐒's upgraded, so same thing. Death Blossom, Dark Star, and Champion 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐒's all had updates to W and E AoE effects. �vel'Koz Q Plasma Fission. Hit sound no longer plays twice when the Q hits an enemy for the first time before splitting on base and all skins. Battlecast �vel'Koz. It says here, so both Battlecast and Arclight have the same thing. It says here, dance sound effects now loop correctly. Restored the sound that plays while the Q plasma bolt travels after splitting has been restored. Actually, Arclight is different. It says dance sound effects now loop correctly. Restored the sound that plays when an enemy has been hit by the W detonate. Infernal �vel'Koz. �vel'Koz will now play metal sounds when hit instead of flesh sounds. Restored respawn sound effects. Restored the sound that plays when the second stack of his passive is applied to enemy champions. ARAM balance changes. Ezreal, minus 5% damage dealt. It says here, minus 3% damage dealt. Miscellaneous, minion AoE damage. Minions now take 75% damage from AoE attacks and abilities. Tear of the Goddess stacking time goes from 100% faster to 50% faster. It says here SS CDR to SS haste change. Players now gain 70 summoner spell haste rather than 40% summoner spell CDR. Horizon Focus bug fix. Horizon Focus will properly proc on long range snowballs. Alright, now it says here, bug fixes, quality of life changes, League client. We have made improvements to the champion select grid, providing a smoother and more reliable experience. It'll take less time to ban and lock in champions, and animations will feel smoother. It says here, so the client again, the reconnect button should no longer display after a match is completed. Players should now experience the appropriate end of game process. When the minimum resolution for the client is selected, summoner spell descriptions should no longer be blocked. Skin chromas no longer show the incorrect champion. This skin is currently not available per purchase tooltip should no longer appear when entering champion select. The player chat has been updated to the new UI tech we're using in the shop and other places. It may look a little different, but it still has the same good heart. If Lysandra uses our Frozen Tomb after using the Hextech Rocket Belt, she no longer gains an increased amount of healing. Moving around Stridebreaker to a new item box location no longer refreshes its cooldown. Silvermere Dawn no longer increases movement speed, and its tooltip now reflects as such. Guinzo's Rageblade no longer deals damage to turrets. Presence of Mind's mana regen bonus no longer resets every time the champion attacks an enemy champion. Resistance Yorick's Our Eulogy of the Isles, Maiden of the Mist, will no longer automatically move above him when he recalls. The champion using Shurila's Battle Song to buff an ally receives a kill, now properly receives assist credit. Yon can no longer critically strike with Guinzo's Rageblade when he uses his third Q, Mortal Steel, attack and melee range. Divine Sunder's passive no longer works against turrets. Zoe's E2 Sleepy Treble Bubble and Vel'Koz's Q2 Plasma Fission, now properly proc Horizon Focus, activating Turbo Chem Tank when moving towards a first-tier turret with plates and out of vision no longer gives bonus movement speed. Players can no longer one-hit kill jungle creep, including the drakes, through a series of steps involving smite. Projectiles from Hextech Rocket Belt's Supersonic no longer goes through champion-created terrain. Fixed Hextech Rocket Belt's Gale Forces and Stridebreaker's tooltips to indicate that their dashes cannot pass through terrain. Tear of the Goddess's Mana Charge no longer triggers off abilities used on Gangplank's barrels. Fizz's W, Seastone Trident, can no longer trigger Tear off of the Goddess's Mana Charge twice. Ornn no longer causes crashes when picked in intro, co-op versus AI games. Lucian's passive Lightslinger properly triggers Muramana's on-hit bonus damage. Muramana on-hit bonus damage now properly doubles every third attack when the user also has Guinzo's Rageblade. Garen's E Judgment's crit damage bonus is now properly 33%. Tom Kench's Q, Tongue Lash plus W Devour combo now properly breaks the Rift Scuttler's shield. Echo's R Chrono Break no longer forces him to attack the closest target on arrival. Misfortune's Cyrilda's Grudge or Everfrost's empowered E Make It Rain no longer slows the enemy more than intended. Katarina can no longer stack Grievous Wounds effect with R Death Lotus. Picking up a Summoner Spell Shard as Zoe with W Spell Thief while casting a Teleport Shard will no longer duplicate the Teleport Shard. Revitalize now properly increases heals and shields you cast onto or receive from allies by the intended amount. These are the upcoming skins and chromas. We're getting Cosmic Charger Hecarim, Cosmic Flight Anivia, Cosmic Invoker Ilaoi, Cosmic Destiny Nami, Cosmic Huntress Nidalee, Cosmic Sting Skarner, Cosmic Hunter Varus, Cosmic Devourer Vladimir, Dark Cosmic Lysandra, and Star Guardian Soraka Prestige Edition. These are the chromas that are going to be on the thing. Sorry if my voice is a little raspy this time. I didn't have any tea when I started, and I just wanted to get through it really quick to release it for people as fast as possible. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.